Okay, so now we've got our 5 Cricut containers set up. They're exactly the same except for one thing. That one thing is that they're each at a different temperature because that's what we're testing. Okay, and a controlled experiment should have only one difference among all the test subjects. All right, so here's a section of notes. Hopefully you can read that. If not, I will attach a picture here to this lesson, but controlled experiments should have only one difference among all test subjects groups. Okay, that difference is called the manipulated variable. That's a term you're going to want to know. So in this case, the manipulated variable is temperature. All right, that's the one thing that we want different between each of our Cricut containers. So now it's time to run our experiment. We've set it up properly with just one difference, and now we have to sit there and listen to each Cricut container for the same amount of time. Maybe that's 20 minutes or whatever, and this would be kind of boring, but that's usually when they get like a grad student to do this kind of work, and they just have to sit there and listen to cricket chirps and count how many they hear. So we'd have a grad student at this Cricut container, all right, for 20 minutes, counting chirps. A grad student at this Cricut container for 20 minutes, counting chirps. A grad student at this Cricut container for 20 minutes, counting chirps. Grad student at this Cricut container for 20 minutes, counting chirps. And a grad student at this Cricut container for 20 minutes, counting chirps. All right? And it's obviously important why they're all 20 minutes long, because it would not be a fair test if you counted Cricut chirps in one container for 40 minutes and compared that to a crickets making noise for only 20 minutes in a different container. It's obvious that crickets are more likely to make more noise in 40 minutes than they are in 20 minutes. So that is another thing that should be the same. All right, here's a little bit of notes. Write this down. The word constants, okay? Everything else in our Cricut containers should be the same. Those are called constants, all right? So like, for example, the size of the container, the number of crickets, the amount of food, water, toys, tunnels, the amount of time that the people are listening for the chirps, all those things should be the same. They're what we call constants, all right? Okay, so then once we get our data, we collect the number of chirps and we can put it on a data table or on a graph, all right? What we were measuring or counting is known as the responding variable, okay? So here's another term you're going to have to know. What you measure or count in the data collection part of the experiment is called the responding variable. In this case, it was the number of crickets. All right, so get those notes written down. Make sure you know what a responding variable is. Make sure you know what a manipulated variable is. Make sure you know what constants are. All right, so there we have an example of a controlled experiment. Remember that the scientists would set it up to just have one difference among all the test subject groups, because if they didn't, it wouldn't be a fair experiment. It wouldn't tell us whether the chirps were the different number of chirps were coming from the temperature, or say I put in different amounts of food into each container. We wouldn't know in the end if the different number of chirps were caused by the different temperature of the container or the different amount of food. Okay, but if all the things between the Cricut containers are the same except for one, then any difference at the end in the number of chirps we can kind of blame or attribute to the one difference that we set up in the experiment. Okay, the manipulated variable. All right, folks. That's an example of a controlled experiment, and you're going to need that information to help you complete today's assignment and complete assignments next week. In this material, there'll be a number of test questions when we get to the test here in another in another week or two, there will be lots of test questions about this kind of stuff. So feel free to go back and rewind and watch and make sure you got good notes. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.